never go above 5 gallons without temperature control. After 5 gallons, it just has this exponential effect, and it's going to be bad unless your temperatures are just naturally 65, 60 degrees. Don't try a BOMM greater than 5 gallons without temperature control. It's not going to turn out well for you.
Okay, JB Cyclenut says he's not doing anything special. Ambient temp 65 degrees average.
Yep. Then he's right in the correct range for that to work for him.
Yeah.
If he was 70, it wouldn't be the same conversation.
When I did my lava berry explosion, I had it in a back bathroom in the bathtub with water in the middle of winter. That's what we have down here.
Well, explosions are a little bit different.
We got down to 40 degrees once this year.
40? Wait, you got your mead down to 40?
No, the outside temperature.
The outside temperatures.
Okay.
62.
It got frighteningly cold in Texas, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, I actually had to put a jacket on once.
Shut up.
Texas is, that's Texas.
We're still below freezing. Shut up.
Yeah, you won't be jealous when we're 110, literally.
In the shade with the air conditioning on.
Yeah, but we're still going up to 30 Celsius, which is almost the same.
Take your 110 and come down here with 90% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. People go, oh, no, it's hot here. And I'm going, try it when there's enough humidity in the air that you need scuba gear to step out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the Netherlands all the time. 80-90% humidity all the time up here.
Well, I'd imagine you got a wall of water between,
Yeah, we got. I'm actually 12 feet below sea level.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't even to imagine there's this 12-foot wall of water between me. Well, maybe even higher than that. Between with a pile of dirt between me and no. Mm-mm.
Well, no, I got lots of time for warning because it's the nearest IJsselmeer, the big lake that used to be the South Sea. That's at least 3 kilometers away. So
you got what, 10, 15 seconds before you can get
at least,
climb up your chimney.
Just long enough. I mean, come on. My daughter lives in Washington State. All right, total sidebar here. My daughter lives in Washington State near Tacoma. She's at Joint Base Lewis McChord at just outside Tacoma. And they were talking about the, if there was a tsunami, like if there was the superquake, right? If there was a tsunami, that everything west of I-5 would have like less than 5 minutes to get to high ground. And I-5 is like an hour from the coast, so.
It's an interesting scenario to think about. Also, irrelevant.
Well, like I said, total sidebar and apropos of nothing, but back to and JB was saying so if you're below, then if you're like 65 or thereabouts, you're not going to see that temperature increase. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that if he's holding at 65 and he sees a temperature increase, he's probably still within bounds. So, for instance, if you've got 5 gallons or less and you're at 65, the most I would expect to see a temperature increase is probably 10 degrees. So he's sitting at max 75, and that's probably short-term duration. So in that case, he can probably get away with that okay. Now, if he's 70 degrees and he's spiking at 80, which means he's above my 74 for a long, long time, well, that's probably going to be a little more difficult. It doesn't mean that it won't be good mead, but you're just going to put it back in the time frame of 6 to 8 months before you can be able to drink it.
Yeah, you got to age those fusels out. Well, that's what I'm wondering, and he didn't really say, is how much of a temperature swing is he really seeing at 65 degrees? Because he
may simply not know. I mean, if you test it the same time every single day and you think once a day is enough, well, then you may not realize there's that much of a temperature swing. But throughout the day, you just don't know.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point because then, you've got your daily temperature changes and whatnot. I had that. I had a strawberry mill that I was working on, and sucker, if I hadn't been checking, the sucker went from, we were at 45 degrees overnight, and temp climbed to over 80 during the day. Typical, well, you guys live in Texas, so you know this. Typical, swing in a 24-hour period, especially in the springtime. And so here I've got this lovely strawberry mel that's supposed to finish semi-sweet, and that sucker burned through to dry and was full of fusels in like 48 hours. It was just like, really? So yeah, I ended up blending it with an orange blossom traditional that died too sweet because why yeast, sweet mead yeast, we wouldn't even go there.
Right.
Yeah. And so nothing I could do would restart it. So I was like, fine, and blended the two and ended up with actually a pretty good mead. But it was weird because, we were just cooking along at a normal rate until the temperature swing, and then it just went right through the roof,
And the thing is that all yeast can put on their super suits from time to time. I've even pushed Y yeast 1388 to 19%. So
really?
It can be done if you know what you're doing and you know how to get it done. You can make it happen.
What do they rate it for?
It's rated for 12 to 13. Actually, in mead, I find it consistently stops at 15.7 to 16.
Okay.
For some reason, in mead, it just functions a little bit differently, and that's not surprising at all, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, no, because they're rating it for wine, for grape wine. So yeah,
actually, this is rated for beer, so
or for beer. Okay.
Really different, really.
We really need to create a set of yeast tables that relate to mead. I was updating the wine yeast table links the other day on GotMead, and going to Lalamon and Y yeast and all of the different wine yeast sites. And they're going, so if you're making a Bordeaux, and it's like, but I'm not making a Bordeaux wine.
Yeah, and I use a lot of wine yeast just to see how they do. And I used D21 because I wanted to see how it would function. And actually, it's one of the rare cases where what they say for wine actually holds pretty true in mead. It's a laser-like focus on whatever your varietal honey is. Which can be good in a sense if you're really trying to dial something in, but it's bad in a sense because there's no complexity whatsoever.
Okay.
And if you just are set on, okay, this honey is fantastic, I just want to taste this honey with laser focus, then D21 is definitely for you. And it's the closest thing we have to the Brother Adams yeast. It's not the Brother Adams yeast, which most people can tell you that, but it's the closest we're ever going to get.
Yeah.
So it's close to his area, which Brother Adams was a monk that's devoted his life to making these wonderful honeybees, and everyone loved his mead, but he was very religious about his mead as well as his religion.
Yeah. Being a monk and all, yeah.
He made his mead, he stuck it in barrels for 7 years, and you didn't drink it before that. Mm-hmm. So, of course, his mead was awesome.
Yeah. Well, and there's actually, I know there's a lot of extant just open source stuff that's out there because the SCA and other groups, historically minded groups, have rescued it. But there's also a book, a collection of his writings, such as they are, and what we have available that is out there. So search Brother Adams on Amazon, and you'll likely come across it.
And so there's some other things going on. There's a group of scientists out your way, Vicki.
Yeah.
That they specialize in doing nothing but harvesting wild yeast, characterizing them, and making beer with it.
Really?
That's a scientific job that I wanted to sign up for. Where the hell was that?
Totally, yeah. Well, I mean, if they're doing that, that must be... That's okay. Got to be... If there's a central college in the middle of the state, in the middle of the wine country, in the Yadkin Valley region, that's got to be where they are.
Okay, the story gets better.
Oh.
So they actually have a yeast that they isolated from the gut of a honeybee. Ooh. And I have already contacted him many months ago to try and get said yeast. And it just kind of, I mean, he responded back and he said, basically the university wants to use this to make money or whatever, and I don't know if I can send it to you, and then deaf ears. So screw him. I'm a microbiologist. I can culture yeast from a honeybee, no problem. So I need honeybees. That's what I need. I need honeybees.
You need honeybees?
I would prefer honeybees that are already pollinating something wonderful like orange blossom or meadowfoam honey or something like that. But I'm looking for honeybees. So if you've got a couple of spare honeybees you'd like to send me through the mail, that's not weird at all.
Just the bees? You don't want a queen or anything like that? Just a couple of bees?
Just the bees. I'd like them
preferably with their little leg sacks full of meadowfoam honey. That would be good.
That'd be fantastic, but I'll take what I can get. No, seriously. So I don't know if any of you guys have looked at this, but I've started. So I've been reading a lot of books on wild ferments and on Groot, which all Groot is Groot. Which all Groot is. Before we figured out that hops were really good in alcoholic beverages, we had all this other slew of plants that we just kind of threw in there because we had them. And guess what? They give you a really good buzz. So, that's basically what Groot is. So I've done an entire scientific analysis of Groot. It's incomplete at best, but it's on GotMead. It's on the forums.
Okay. NC State's doing the experiment, just so you know. Which is right near me.
And, the thing is that from what I can see, most people have done Groot from the standpoint of very much beer-oriented. But I'm going to look at it from more the ceremonial, the ceremonial deal for many ancient cultures, including Vikings, but not limited to, was that there was a pure honey wine for ceremonial purposes. This would be their religious holidays, I guess you would say.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to do is revive Groot Mead. Not beer, Groot Mead.
Interesting.
So I'm studying all the herbs and stuff, and I have definitely learned you better study your herbs because there are some herbs, like for instance herbane, you don't want to touch that.
No, you really don't. It constantly amazes me how many people come on GotMead asking about herbs that if they use them will kill them.
Yeah. Be very, very careful.
Natural does not mean safe, people.
No.
I'm a forager, so I know that there are certain things I don't use, and mushrooms are one of those.
Just because it's a red berry doesn't mean it's good to eat.
Yeah.
Exactly. So so I'm trying to basically make it such that I can find these things, find people that actually have these things to sell, which that in and of itself can be difficult. And say, okay, well, here's a good supplier, and I'm not to that point yet, but I want to get to the point where it's like, okay, I have tried their stuff. I'm not dead. That sort of thing. But I think what I'm going to try initially is just to basically do some steepings in some mead that I already know what it tastes like, and then kind of go from there.
Interesting. A quick search on Google, because, the Google fool is strong with this crowd.
There's only one website.
Well, yeah, but there's several conversations on homebrew forums. Small Beer Press has got a thing called Groot Quest, but it's more beer-oriented.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mead Made Easy mentions it. Yeah, most of it is beer-related for the most part. So yeah, we need to. This is where when I set you up because you're already set up as an author, I just need to send you the info. When you can start talking about this on GotMead, because I think there will be people who want to know.
And the thing is that
there's actually a herb shop in Ottawa that I've been looking at for getting some of the stuff that I haven't been able to find through regular ways of getting stuff.
Well, and don't be afraid to ask me, dude, because I can totally package it as, I'm sure I'll think of something and, send it.
It's oregano.
Yeah.
It's marinade.
Yeah.
It's marinade.
Marinade, yeah.
Nobody has to know it's marinade for the liver, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so I will totally act as your mule, relatively speaking, and, Get that to you. Just let me know what you need. We've got some
Probably
pretty good
shouldn't have
herb
said
shops
that on
down
record.